Hi, and I guess welcome to my very first tutorial on motion blur and Nuke. Um, what we're basically going to be doing in this tutorial is we're going to be motion blurring a fighter jet thing. Yes, a fighter jet thing. A fighter jet, anyway, you get what I mean. Um, well, what I'm going to do is, yeah, I'm going to make it motion blurred and stuff, and I'm going to show you how to do that in Nuke. So I guess the first thing what we're going to do is I'm just going to set my my project settings within Nuke first to 1920 by 1080. I just chose that randomly, just as a standard format setup for my project. But you can choose anything really. You got a whole lot of things there. So anyway, the first thing I'm going to do to begin this tutorial is I'm going to read in the image of the fighter jet one I was talking about to motion blur. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read in that image, and it comes in. But you'll notice the size is a little bit bigger than the project settings size within Nuke. So I guess we're going to have to reformat that. And we'll bring in a reformat node. And we'll put that node in where it belongs. And you'll see it reformats it to 1920 by 1080. Okay, after we've done that, what I'm going to basically do is I'm going to bring in a primat key because I want to generate a mat for I guess our input image. So I'm just going to connect that to the input, and you'll notice our primat sticks in there as we see. So I'm going to select my background image color so I can generate a key. So I'm going to, if I press A at the moment, you'll notice there's no alpha channel. Okay, we've got to generate that with the primat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the Control Shift or Command Shift keys on your Mac or PC, and I'm just going to basically drag on there, and you'll see basically what will happen is it will generate a very soft mat. But as we can see, if I was to zoom in here, we have holes in our mats, and if I was to gamma down, well, there's holes everywhere, so it's not a nice mat. Anyway, so I'm just going to turn off my alpha channel again, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my background noise to clean up, and as we can see, there's a lot of background noise here. So I'm just going to clean that by holding Command Shift again, and it'll clean that up. Okay, but we've got the problem of there being, a bit of a problem with the aircraft having holes in it. So as we can see, if I gamma down, it's got holes all through it. So we're going to have to strengthen our mat, or make our mat, I guess, a little bit better. So what we're going to do now is we're going to clean the foreground noise here. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do as before is Control Shift and drag on the area that you want to be held down as a mat. Sorry, held out as a mat, and you select that area again. And as we can see, we've still got some holes here, but it's a pretty strong mat, even if I gamma all the way down to 0.001. So I'm just going to strengthen up that area a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to turn off the alpha channel again, and you'll notice we have a little fighter jet there ready to go. It's being keyed and whatever else. Okay, so what we're going to do from here is I am going to bring in a checkerboard as a background, and we don't need to reformat it because it will conform to the project settings, I guess read node or whatever you want to call it, the project settings root format, whatever it is. And so basically what you want to do is we want to put that image on top of the checkerboard. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to press the tab key again and then add mix. So what that's going to do is that's a basic merge operator, or it's like a merge operator, except it works a little differently. And basically what you want to do is we want to hook that as our foreground. So currently you'll notice the B input is our foreground, which we don't want that. So what you want to do is you want to press Shift X and it swaps it around. Then we want to drive our B into the background, and there you have it. You have a little lesson on keying, even though this is about motion blur. We've basically just generated a mat. It's not that clean, but anyway, I'll do for the demonstration of this video, or this tutorial, I should say. Okay, so we have that fighter plane there, and now what we're going to do is we're going to transform it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press T, and it's going to bring in a transform. Okay, and then I'm going to basically scale it right down by using the scale tool just here, and I've scaled it down. Okay, after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically just animate it. I don't know, moving across the screen like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my start position outside the window, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a key, and then I'm going to drag it up to my, well, let's say my 15th frame, and I'll put it over here, and then it's going to automatically set a key up for me. When something's animated, you'll notice it will be blue in this area here to tell you that it's animated. And also on the node itself, it will have a little A next to it. If you were to zoom in here and see, it means it's animated. Okay, so we got that little thing happening here. It's flying across the screen, but there's no motion blur. So what we're going to do to generate that motion blur is this. We're going to press the tab key again, okay, and we're going to bring in a motionblur2D, okay? And what that basically we're going to do, what we're basically going to do with that is we're just going to basically put it in here and then hook it up here, like so. So the 2D and the input transfer goes into the transform node, okay? And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a vector blur, okay? And basically what will happen is this 2D motion blur will output a motion UV based on a transform that we have, or the transform node itself that we've animated. So, okay, we're going to hook up the vector blur after the motionblur2D node, okay? And you'll notice nothing happens. Okay, there's a reason why, okay? So what you want to do is you want to double click on your vector blur and bring it up in your properties panel. And the reason why it's not motion blurring is because there's no UV channels that are being motion blurred. So what we've got to do is we've got to bring in the motion. Okay, so when we bring in the motion, you will notice it starts the motion blur. And of course, we can control the amount of that motion blur by controlling the amount of multiplication there is to it. So if I was to put on 0.5, you'll notice the motion blur is a little bit less. So anyway, there you have it. That's how you do it. So when your little plane zooms past, it will look like it's, I guess, really flying, if you could call it that. So yeah, that's how you do 2D motion blur. It's pretty easy. If you have any troubles or issues with motionblur2D as well, just, I don't know, PM us or whatever, and yeah, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Alright, that's it. Thank you.